right, greetings all. Raphael X here with another video. Please subscribe, click on the like button, notifications, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. Before anything else, let's, as we always do, start with a prayer. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. I have to use this microphone here. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Jesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen. In Patris et Filii, Spiritus Sancti. Amen. All right, I forgot I got this new microphone here. Got to use it. All right. So today we're going to talk about they want to kill you, how these pro-abortion literally firebombs are becoming more and more prevalent, right? We're getting used to pro-abortion violence, and they are complaining about that they're kind of counteracting pro-life violence, which of course is a farce. I mean, there's very few cases where there's pro-life violence, right? Which is an oxymoron. Abortion is literally the sacrament of the left. It has become a satanic religious principle, and without it, they cannot survive, right? There's religious fanaticism toward its defense, and they think, right, those who the pro-choicers, the majority of them, they have fallen into this belief that they cannot live without abortion. Their very existence is threatened, right? Which is quite evil. Right? There's a lot of interesting articles about abortion being the sacrament of the left, the sacrament of Satan, ultimately a pseudo sacrament, right? And as sacraments in Catholicism, the sacraments are the means of grace, right? They are sensible signs that signify and realize, they make grace, they make the indivisible mysteries come true, right? Come to reality. So abortion for the Satanists, in a sense, does the same thing. It makes the evils, it is the source of all the evils coming in through the world. So without the foundation of abortion, really, other evils cannot come into the world. It really does open up spiritual doors, right? I believe it was Fulton Sheen who sat next to a woman who was a Satanist, and he tells it himself. I'm not sure if it was him or another famous bishop, that he sat next to a Satanist on the plane, and the Satanist was fasting for abortions, to have more abortions, right? Abortion is very important for Satanism, right? It is the basis and cause of all other evils, right? So it, as such, it must be demolished, right? It must be taken away with. And we don't know what's going on. I mean, they leaked that, right? The opinion piece, it was leaked from the Supreme Court, and there hasn't been a word on it, right? Nothing. Supreme Court hasn't said anything. I mean, that was supposed to be an opinion piece, the basis of a ruling, and nothing has come out. So hopefully they haven't caved into the violence. So let's talk about the violence today. There's an interesting Washington Post article, which, interestingly, must be an editorial piece, but it's actually, it goes against the violence in a kind of soft way. But let's look at it. So I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to look at it, different articles, and see what's going on here. So let's share the screen of this Washington Post article, and pardon the ads. The ads are, free advertisement. Jane was here. There's this group called they're called Jane's Jane's Revenge, which I'm not sure who Jane is. Probably something easy I'm not sure. It'll come to me, I guess. I think I did know at one point. But Jane's Revenge is a pro-abortion extremist group, and that's an understatement. A lot of them, they have taken the credit for a lot of these fire bombings of pro-life centers. So we're seeing a violence towards those who defend good, and they are calling evil good and good evil, right? And using violence to to defend their views, get their point across, and attack the other, of course. All right, so let's see here. The article starts: the biblical teaching that violence only begets violence has long been proved true, but rarely more poignantly than in recent attacks on pregnancy counseling centers in Oregon and New York, disruption of church services, and the alleged plot of on the life of the Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The media has barely reported on this. You know, it's good to see this in the Washington Post talking about this, but that's something sick. I mean, where's Garland? Right? Not doing anything here. This is serious stuff, but it seems like our political leaders are precisely being political in the sense that they're not, applying justice equally. They're I mean, in the application of justice, you're seeing their political bias, right? Which abortion is not merely a political issue. Those who say it's a political issue do not believe in fundamental morality. It's a moral issue, right? It's so much beyond political issue. Maybe America was too busy, continuing here, maybe America was too busy burying its slain children from the most recent mass shootings at the school to connect the dots among the many efforts to intimidate and thus influence conservative judges as they consider reversing Roe v. Wade. Given that these acts of violence were all aimed at pro-life people, they should be investigated as terrorist attacks. Very good, Washington Post, very good. It is a terrible irony that the people who want to protect life must put their own lives at risk. Maybe violence is what we should expect when abortion, one of the most violent acts conceived by humankind, is ground zero. Whatever one's argument for abortion, there's no debating the utterly inhumane violence inflicted upon a gestating human being. Right, so very good, right? Spot on, the Washington Post. The thing is, the reason why I say it's soft is that it really doesn't get into the acts themselves, these pro-abortion attacks on pro-life pregnancy centers. And I mean, why would you attack a center that is helping women who decide to have their child and who need help? I mean, it's really sick. The entire abortion apparatus is reprehensible on its face, but over time we've become accustomed to it. In the process, we found ways to discuss abortion that sidestep its appalling reality. We make the objectionable more acceptable by manipulating language. Very good. We use euphemisms, right? I'm going to terminate the fetus. No one says I'm going to kill the baby, right? Euphemisms. The object of the termination is the baby, we're told. It's a fetus, right? This is going on. So so they say the public hasn't heard much from the media about the reported dozens of attacks on churches and crisis pregnancy centers. I'm going to show you some photos here from another article. And that's pretty much, that's it. Despite these attacks and the alleged attempted assassination of Kavanaugh, President Biden hasn't been moved to condemn them. Right? You know, President Biden in 1974 was against abortion. A lot of people don't know this. He was against abortion. He said it's not merely the woman's right to choose. It shouldn't be merely up to the woman. And now totally changed on him. The National Review points out that Biden had 3 opportunities before large audiences to condemn these events. Instead, he apparently delegated that job to White House Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who has said that the president condemns all political violence, right? Just a very general condemnation. She's doing a horrible job, by the way. She's always kind of lost in tough questions when they ask her tough questions. Well, that must have been balm for Kavanaugh's soul. Biden also failed to condemn protesters who surrounded Kavanaugh's home for several days. How can that be allowed? How can that not be seen as, forcing, essentially, justices, trying to pull them towards a certain ruling? Intimidation. That's essentially what it is. This is illegal. So for judges, I mean, especially. Rather, he took the time to say that protests are fine as long as they're peaceful. In fact, that's not true. It's illegal to protest at the private homes of judges. What I'm looking at under Title 18, Section 1507 of the U.S. Code, enacted in 1950. So they're not even following the law here, people. They're not even enforcing the law. One would think Biden, who headed the Senate Judiciary Committee for a time, might have checked with counsel, excuse me, before condoning illegal acts that easily could have escalated. This is an outrage, period. Right? So essentially, Biden should have condemned them, right? He surely would have strongly condemned the fire bombings had the targets been abortion clinics run by Planned Parenthood. Of course, right? We're seeing the political bias, even with violence, and this is scary. Even with violence, the left they're not impartial. They don't care. They do not care. Again, this is their religious beliefs. This has become the sacrament. This is almost justified for them. My best guess is that, and I agree with this article, the justices won't deliver their abortion opinions until later this month, right? And I even think they might not even do it at all. And the only way to counteract these people, the violent leftists, extremists, is to throw it in their face. All right, you're going to do this to me? Let's come out with a ruling right away. Right? You're going to protest in my house? Bam. Here you go. This means Biden still has time to be clear that federal penalties for acts of terrorism can include life imprisonment and, in certain circumstances, death. Terrorism is not an objective thing anymore. We have to understand. Terrorism is the political enemies, right? You're seeing the January 6th committee, and a lot of those who simply just walked into the Capitol building, a lot of those are being held without bond and held in like what they call the DC gulag, right? Without even recourse to legal services. And those are terrorists. Terrorists are also, and there was a letter from the Homeland the Department of Security. Terrorists are also those parents that appear at the Board of Education meetings protesting CRT, right? Protesting sex education. Those are the domestic terrorists. Again, those who politically disagree become the terrorists because the leftist has fallen to a tremendous dogmatism. Right? More dogmatic than the religious dogmatics, or dogmatists, I should say. We are everywhere. This is from the Jane. What is this from? Jane's Revenge. We are everywhere. So they write, Jane was here. I think we even saw that in the Washington Post. Yeah, Jane was here. This is from the Washington Post article. Very good for Washington Post. All right, you don't see that too much, but to give credit, more credit is due. CNBC News, just to show some pictures here. Check this out. This was, I believe, one in Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo on Tuesday morning, some days ago. Here's, again, disregard the ads. Here's, you can see, Jane was here. Jane's Revenge, this pro-abortion extremist group, terrorist group. Here's another one. Another one, splatting. Jane Says Revenge, right? Splattering blood in a DC crisis pregnancy center. Here's another one in Wisconsin. I believe this was the first one. This was weeks ago. Yeah, May 8th. If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either. 1312A. I'm not sure what that is. And let's just see this article. This is from the Christian Perspective. We are everywhere. Okay, those were the photos there. Let's check this article here just to see some of these attacks. And they get free advertising. So pro-abortion activists are escalating their attacks against churches, pro-life charities, and some Supreme Court judges. Across the country, vandals have been sabotaging buildings, supposedly in reaction to the leaked Supreme Court draft opinion indicating that the court could overturn Roe v. Wade. And what's scary is that they haven't. They seem like they're caving in again. They seem like they're caving into the violence. And I wouldn't be surprised with Justice Roberts, who is a fake conservative. I would not be surprised. This is the same site. Just so you see here, there's a pro-abortion group, protesters, playing music and chanting in front of ACB's, Trump's justice pick, her house. Very small group. So I don't want to click on that, but let's just so you see. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The handmaid has got to go. So this is a reference to her Catholic faith, right? This is express anti-Catholicism, right? A handmaid. Our Lady said, "Behold, the handmaid of the Lord." Right? Abortion is very anti-Marian also, as Mary is the mother of God. Abortion is anti-mother, right? As our Blessed Mother, her womb, right, and all mothers, our Blessed Mother's womb, right, was to give life. A woman who commits abortion, her womb she makes into a grave. It gives death. It's really sad. It's really sad. Abortion is, again, it's the evil, it's the fundamental evil. And that's precisely why they're fighting so strongly for its existence. It is their sacrament. All right, well, let's give credit where credit's due. Washington Post. Again, this is an opinion piece. Very small piece, probably buried in the actual newspaper. But we're going to leave it at that, and stay tuned for more stuff coming up. And again, subscribe, click on the notifications button, share this video, and also leave a comment. All right, hopefully you could hear well. And I got to get used to the microphone. All right, well, take care. God bless. Bye now.